Hello, 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 my name is Tim Cleaver. Welcome back to my channel. I've had a few people ask me for more Neurosis guitar lessons, and with the recent news regarding Scott Kelly, I think it's high time I do it. So I present to you 5 best Neurosis riffs. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. These riffs are favorites of mine, instantly recognizable, and cover their entire discography, starting with their 3rd album, Souls at Zero, all the way to their 11th and most recent album, Fires Within Fires. Because this is my personal list and therefore subjective, I know I missed many great riffs. This is where I'd like to know your opinion of your favorite Neurosis riffs, so please let me know in the comments below. This is also why I titled this video 5 Best Neurosis Riffs, as in 5 of the best, not the 5 best. I could have easily picked 5 different riffs tomorrow. As much as I wanted to include a riff from one of their first 2 hardcore punk albums, I felt that those songs weren't prime examples of the gargantuan Neurosis sound we know and love today. What I'll be doing in this video is playing along with the studio recording of one pass through each riff, and then breaking them down and focusing on each riff separately and individually, with tab. So grab your guitar. The tunings here are a little different from standard. Basically, there are 4 Neurosis tunings. Each guitar player, Scott Kelly and Steve Von Till, each use 2. Scott uses DAD, GBE, or drop D, and AAD, GBE, drop A. And Steve uses DAD, GAD, DADGAD, and AAD, GAD, ADGAD. Just think of them as drop D and drop A, and Steve drops his high B and E down one step further to A and D respectively. This tuning allows them to get creative with chord voicings, producing some interesting and uniquely dissonant sounds. So now, in chronological order, I present to you 5 best Neurosis riffs. Alright, so this is To Crawl Under One's Skin. This is the first track on their 3rd album, Souls at Zero. And I like the way that it incorporates the harmonics there on the 12th fret. So I'll play it, I guess, a few times. And then I'll just, because it's not that complicated, and then I'll maybe go over each individual part. But yeah, again, they're not like too complicated. So the tuning for this is drop D. I have my guitar tuned to Steve Von Till's tuning for all these songs. So it's, for this particular song, it's D, A, D, and the reason I have the 2 high open strings tuned to A and D as opposed to B and E is exactly for that last little. So the riff. So we want to start with an octave shape on the 5th fret on the A string, and then just an octave higher on the G string on the 7th fret, playing also a D. So we got one quarter note, and then an 8th note followed by 2 16th notes, and then another 16th note, followed by a dotted quarter note, and then again the same thing, another 16th note followed by another dotted quarter note if I have my music theory correct. So it's, that's the first part. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what I do, I don't know exactly what the guys in Neurosis do. I did do a bit of studying of their live videos just to kind of look at their left hands more than their right hands, just to see where they were on the guitar necks. But yeah, again, I have to like reinforce that this is like, there's no official tabs. This is all by ear and by by looking at what they do. And then from there, I take my middle finger, slide it up to the 12th fret, and then bar across, I guess you could bar across the top 3 strings, like the G, A, and D, but only play the G string and the D string, and ring up their harmonics. I think it sounds really cool. Not a lot of bands utilize harmonics in that way to make the riff sound really, like, it's catchy yet dissonant. And then what I'm doing there is just basically, like I said, a major 7th shape. All I'm doing is hammering on my middle finger on the 6th fret there. So I'm playing an E flat or a D sharp along with the D natural. So that's, again, the 6th fret on the A string, and it's still this the 7th fret on the G string. All right, that is To Crawl Under One's Skin. Alright, next riff is the title track to their 1996 album, first one for Relapse Records, Through Silver in Blood. So the tuning for this and the tuning for all the rest of the riffs in this lesson are going to be in drop A. So the low E string is tuned down 1 octave lower than the normal A string. And again, the high E and D are tuned down to A and D, respectively. So you have low A, regular A. I'm not quite sure what the pitch is. I think it's A5, but I could be totally wrong. Anyway, the standard A is still the standard A on guitar. And then your standard D, standard G, and then again, those are tuned down to A and D. So the riff. Sorry, that was wrong. This is the right way. Yeah, one of the really cool things about this drop A tuning is that it allows you to play power chords with a really low reinforced bass note. So like any normal power chord on the A string, like let's say for example, this normal, E power chord on the A string. If we bar the 7th fret on the now low A string, it's an octave lower, right? So I think that's a huge part of the Neurosis sound, just like a very deep, heavy bass tone. So for this riff, there's 3 chords. You have your open A power chord, and then your C sharp power chord. So that's just like your normal C sharp power chord, but again with a reinforced lower octave, 1 octave lower on the low A string. And then your B flat power chord based on the 1st fret. And again, yeah, these riffs are all in 4/4 time, so no weird timings really. But this riff does have like a halftime feel. And I say it's halftime because if it were like I guess normal time it would be written out in 30-second notes, and nobody's got time for 30-second notes. So it goes by pretty fast. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, the timing's pretty straightforward. For the first chord, you hold it for a quarter note, and then 3 beats of 16th notes, just alternate picking and palm muting on the low A. And I guess you could throw that 5th string A in there too, but I find it's kind of hard to do that, and it makes it sound kind of wonky. So yeah, maybe stick to just the low A string, and really make it, gnarly. So it's, and then 2 half notes, one of the A power chord, and then C sharp power chord, and then same rhythm again, just different notes. This time you're playing a B flat. Oh, that was wrong. Oh. That might have been wrong too. Hang on. I'll play it slow. This is slow. Yeah, so one of the most sickest and just angriest riffs I've ever heard. And I think that low A just adds to the gnar factor. And yeah, and when the whole band's going, especially with the the drum intro where I think Scott and Steve were playing the toms along with their drummer Jason Rader. Just a huge wall of sound. Yeah. So that was Through Silver in Blood. All right, the next riff is the main verse riff from Under the Surface, the 3rd song on their 1999 album, Times of Grace. The first one engineered by Steve Albini. I can't think of a NEUROSIS album without Steve Albini. He's the 6th member in my opinion. So another really cool riff. This one is a bit more melodic, and it's got a really kind of sad sound to it, but kind of sad yet triumphant and catchy, because it is it does have some major scale notes in it. And again, the tuning is the same as the last tuning. So we got low A, regular A, D, G, A, and then D. So again, you drop the low E down to A, and then you drop the high B and E down to A and D. So here's the riff. Yeah, this riff took me a long time to kind of learn, because it's kind of dissonant, but you know what I mean by the way it sounds, kind of triumphant. I think it's moving from the last chord of the riff back to the first chord, like this chord, which would be I guess an F with an A root to the B flat major triad. So yeah, that's how it starts. So you're on the 8th fret of the D string with your, I guess, second finger. And then the 7th fret of the G string with your first finger. That's your B flat triad. And then you want to play the open A string while still holding down this triad. Like this. So it produces that really cool dissonant effect. Because those are just, I guess the B flat and then the A are just a semitone apart. Which is like really, they're next door neighbors basically. And then you want to play the open strings. I'm just playing the open D and G. And then the open A string, like the high A string. And then the two low A strings, like the 5th and 6th string. Play those 3 times, so like the first 2 hits are dotted quarter notes, and then the last hit is just a normal quarter note, so it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then again the same rhythm on the last bar, except it's that F chord with the A root that I spoke of just a bit earlier. So it's the 7th fret on the D string and 10th fret on the G string. It is kind of tricky to go from this chord, but that's what practice is for, right? And yeah, the middle parts of that riff give me trouble for a long time. Just like I could figure out the notes, but just like finding a comfortable way to play that, because I tried it like this for a few times. Excuse my mistakes. So it's like, so instead of playing the open strings, you're fretting them. But it didn't sound right to me, and I'm positive that that's not how Steve Von Til plays it live. It's a lot easier to play it this way too. Yeah, so your left hand is free during that one bar or whatever to like grab a drink or have a smoke or whatever. Yeah, so again, you got your B flat, open high A string, and then open D and G strings. Same kind of first chord as the Smoke on the Water riff, right? Then the high open A string. And that's it. Fuck, I fucked it up. That's it. That's Under the Surface. Alright, the next riff is the title track to their 2007 album, I want to say, Given to the Rising. This again is the same tuning, drop A, and then drop the B string to A, and then drop the high E string to D. So this is the riff. So I like it. I like it a lot because it doesn't waste any time. It's the first track on the new album. No fading in with a trippy keyboard part. No tribal drum intro. It's just like the whole band is in right off the bat. Just setting the tone for one of my favorite Neurosis records. And I think this was around the time that I was just getting into Neurosis, thanks to Mastodon. So I'm pretty sure that Given to the Rising is like the first new Neurosis album that I bought. Yeah, because I already bought the previous albums before that, but because they came out earlier, like I didn't buy them as they came out. So yeah, Given to the Rising is the first Neurosis album I bought as it came out. So that's pretty sick. Again, the riff, just power chords with that low A string. So it's like power chords on the A string, based on the A string, but with that extra low octave. So I'm only playing the low A, regular A, and D strings. With that flat 5 in there. Right? Everybody's favorite Black Sabbath riff. That makes it instantly classic riff. Instant classic riff. So it's a 12th fret, starting on the 12th fret. Sliding down to the 10th fret. 13th fret. 10th fret again, back to 12. Then 7, 6, with of course the 5th being played 2 frets higher for each power chord. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time like explaining, power chords and the basic stuff, because this isn't a guitar lesson. It's like a riff lesson, and I hope and I expect you to know like what a power chord is and all that good stuff. So again, amazing, yeah. One of my favorite riffs ever, not even Neurosis riffs, just one of my favorite riffs ever. Yeah, that was Given to the Rising. Alright, we made it to the end. This is the last riff. This is the very last riff in the very last song in the very last Neurosis album. The song is called Reach. 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 The album is Fires Within Fires. Came out in 2017, I want to say. So this is a favorite riff of mine because it just comes out of nowhere. It's so heavy after the relative like calmness and mellowness of the earlier part of the song, and it's a patented Neurosis moment. Every album has one moment where it's like time stands still for a second, and they all come in with that instantly recognizable sound that you know is Neurosis, and that is definitely one of these times. So again, the tuning's the same. Drop A. I guess, add GAD. Low A, D, G, A, D. But it doesn't really matter with the upper strings because we're only playing the two lowest strings. So this is how she goes. That's it. It's a longer riff. It's 8 bars as opposed to a lot of these riffs that are just like 1 bar or 2 bars. Like To Crawl Under One's Skin is 1 bar. Through Silver and Blood, 4 bars. Yeah, so this is quite of a longer riff, but it's kind of simple. Excuse me. But it's got a lot of cool parts in it. So we're going to start on the 9th fret on the low A string. You're just playing the lowest 2 strings. So you just have the octave effect there. Excuse me. It's just back and forth between the 9th and 10th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 4. And then here it's 9, 10, 12, 8, 7. And then you want to go down to the 1st fret and just play the low A string. And then slide up to the 8th fret. And then again down to the 1st fret, slide up. Yeah, it's kind of hard to make out that low note exactly on the recording, but I'm pretty sure they play that note. That's what it sounds like to me. And it would make sense to go to like the lowest note you can, the 1st fret, and slide up, because it's kind of hard to like play an open string and then slide up like that. So yeah, like I said, it is kind of simple. It's just based around 2 chords, like the 9th fret and then the 7th fret, with a lot of in-between notes. The in-between notes are sometimes even more important than the notes on the line. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. That's it. And yeah, feel free to be very generous in that slide. Just fun to play. And yeah, there's not really a correct time on it. Well, I guess there is a correct time. As long as you're on that 8th fret, you know, for the next beat. Should be fine. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what makes this riff sound greater on the recording is that there's a lot of like overdubs happening. That it's kind of hard to play on the guitar at the same time, because there's one effect. It sounds like it's kind of echoing what the main guitar is doing, but it kind of sounds like a keyboard part as well. Basically, it's like bending a half step above it and then landing on the root, so it's like. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do that while still keeping the low note held. And that's it. That was Reach. All right, that was my lesson for 5 best Neurosis riffs. I hope you learned something. I hope it was enjoyable and entertaining, educational. Yeah, if you would like other lessons for other songs, I specialize in the sludge and doom and stoner guitar subgenres. I love that shit. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anything, Neurosis, Mastodon, excuse me, High on Fire, ISIS, the band ISIS, of course. Yeah, I'm always down to give guitar lessons. Yes. So again, please give me your thoughts. I need your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.